had a purple purse that I called my treasure bag. And that's where I kept my treasures. My bottle caps, my shiny rocks. I think I had a few buttons in there. And those were the things that were most precious to me as a little girl. As I've gotten older, the things that are most precious to me are my experiences. And some of my favorite have been the travels that I have gotten to experience, just like Sarah, getting to get into other cultures and learn from all of the treasures of this world. Today I wanted to share with you a few of the things that I found that have helped me as I've traveled to really dig into those cultures in a short amount of time. The first thing that has really helped me is to be specific and particular when it comes to your travel partners, if you can. If you can go with somebody who also likes to have an adventure, that's the way to go. You know, there are all sorts of reasons to travel. People like to go to all-inclusive resorts and have a good drink. Some people like to read a book on the beach. If you've got the money to be that particular about your reading ambience, and that's what you like, then go for it. But if you really want to dig into the culture, try to go to somebody who also wants to do that. And the next thing that you want to do, once you find that perfect travel partner, the person who also wants to experience that culture with you, is to ignore them, at least as much as you can. Because when you're in another country and you're trying to get to know other people, the more time you spend in your comfort zone with the people that you know, the less time that you're having interacting with the people of that country and of that culture. And you never know what's going to happen in those conversations. I was in a pub in Dublin one time, and I was talking to a guy at the bar, and the conversation started out, he asked, so, where are you from? I was like, I'm from the States, I'm from Kansas. Oh, say hello to Dorothy for me. Top of the morning to you and your little leprechaun too. But from that, we got to talking, and I got to asking questions about Ireland and Dublin, and in this pub, there were some people doing this dance, and it wasn't like your river dance. It was this folk dance, kind of like a square dance that we would do here in the States. And I asked him, you know, what's this about? Can you tell me more about this? And he did. And then he told me that there's this place in town that does lessons every Sunday night. And he invited me to come. So that Sunday night, I was there doing folk dance lessons with my Irish friends, my new Irish friends. But I wouldn't have been able to do that had I not been willing to have those kind of conversations. And when you have those kinds of conversations, you learn and you grow. And I love to ask questions and to be curious. I love to ask, you know, what's it like just in a day in your country? What, if I was here for just a short amount of time, what would I do to best get to experience what it's like to be a citizen of your country? Can you tell me, are there any special events that are going on, any festivals, any fairs? I mean, you never know what's going to happen in these conversations, so ask questions. But what if you don't speak the language? You know, that's tough. Because a lot of times you're traveling in a place and you don't speak the language. Well, I think if you can at least learn a few words, that goes a long way. Definitely try. Certainly you want to learn, you know, your basics, hello, and you know, bathroom. Bathroom's a good one. But my favorite thing to learn before I go is the question, how do you say this in your language? Because if you can learn to say, how do you say this, how do you say in Chinese, or how do you say in, you know, Italian, then that is a way that you can learn another language, and it's an automatic way to get into a conversation with another person. So get into those conversations and learn from other people and try the language. And when you're trying to learn about them and ask questions, definitely you want to ask for recommendations of things to eat. Because when you're in another country, try to eat all the local food that you can. And I know sometimes you don't like it. Sometimes we've got picky eaters. But just try, because you never know what you're going to like. I was in Malawi, and I was served some green beans. Now, I don't like green beans all that much. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to try these green beans. And I did. I took that first bite, and I thought, oh no. Oh God, no, these are worse than I thought. And that's when I looked down at these green beans, and I realized that the green beans had eyes. The green beans were staring back at me because they were not green beans. They were in fact fish. They were tiny little fish, and they were disgusting. Absolutely terrible. And at that moment, I could have said, you know what, I'm never going to try fish in Malawi again. It's disgusting. But had I done that, I never would have had chambo. And chambo is the flakiest, most delicious fish that I have ever tasted. And there's only one place in this world that you can get chambo, and that's from Lake Malawi. And I'm so glad that I was able to take in that culture and take in those flavors. I love to try different flavors. One of my favorite things to do when I go to another country is I go straight to the markets, straight to the grocery stores, and I get snacks. I never bring snacks from America. Always get snacks from the culture where you are. And today, to help you try some different flavors, I actually brought some snacks. Now these came from the Asian market, down in the river market, but I brought a couple candies, and feel free to take one of each. I've got sesame seed candy and guava candy. Feel free to try those. Because I love to take in different flavors. It helps you really experience that culture. And then the last thing that has really helped me, and this is the toughest one, and that is, that's when you don't call home. Don't call home, and don't get on social media. The first thing you're going to want to do when you get to another country is you're absolutely going to want to post pictures on social media, at least I do. Because it gives you a little look, hey, I'm here, you're not. But when you do that, it drags you back into what's going on in America. And it pulls you away from that culture. And you know what, you're never gonna go to the Acropolis and you're never gonna see the Parthenon and come back down and say, that was great and all, but now I don't know what Mary had for lunch. Aww. It's just not gonna happen. If you spend a lot of money going to this culture, take the time to be there, because you're going to gather treasures. Treasures like I've had to speak with a Buddhist monk for an hour about a religion. Treasures like going to a birthday party in Brazil that cost more than my wedding. Treasures like being with a man in Johannesburg when he got the call that his friend had been carjacked and stabbed and was in ICU. And that was shocking to me. What was more shocking was that this happens all the time. And that was hard, but that was a treasure that I will carry with me in my treasure bag for the rest of my life. Thank you.